leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. What is going on? It is your boy, President Fat Samurai Guy, back again with my brother from another mother. That's right. Director of Bone Cold, filmmaker, writer. That's right. He's done it all. Billy Hanson. That's right. That's how you're going to be called now.
Oh yeah, let me change my little name thing.
Next one. Next time. Next time. I know people are watching right now. They're like, Samurai Guy started out singing. What's going on? Well, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Referencing a movie we're going to talk about tonight. And this newest episode 7 of Yin Yang Reviews, the series we both created to just give us an excuse to talk about two movies that are the complete opposite, just for fun. And yeah, man, welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm having so much fun already with this one.
Cheers.
I'm sorry to cheers with water.
Non-sponsored.
I am sponsored by water, actually.
I have been drinking more water and tea lately. I've been I got to get in that Billy Handsome shape. That's the goal, so, but
you
right
need
now,
a lot more like ice cream and coffee with lots of sugar. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But this is the fuck it drink because
Nice.
I got a busy night ahead of me. So I need all my energy I can get here. But yeah, man, welcome back to the show. What is going on? Yeah. We got the Night of the Hunter, real old school. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, what's going on? Brandon is in the house. What's up, Brandon? The Iron Claw movie. Did you see the Iron Claw movie?
I haven't yet. That's one of the few movies I haven't seen this year. One of the few like awards prestige movies. I've done pretty well. I've seen most of them. Iron Claw is on my list. It's maybe this week I'll check it out.
Nice. Copy that. Yeah, man. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. It's one of those I'll definitely get around to it though.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of The Wrestler.
Yes.
When The Wrestler came out, like that was the big wrestling like prestige wrestling movie, and I was like, how is that going to work? And then I watched it and I was like, damn, this is a really good movie.
Is it Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
But yeah, we are all over the place today. We got a movie from 1955 and 2000 and the year 2000. Yes, The Night of the Hunter in the Moon for Love. We'll get into Night of the Hunter here, but first of all, I was always curious about Night of the Hunter. Even the Spike Lee joint. God damn it! I'm not awake, guys. I'm not awake right now.
Takes a second for that rock star to kick in.
Classic Spike Lee movie. They put him on the map.
Do the Right Thing.
Yes, Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
The character with the what you call it? The love hate.
The love and hate. Oh, I should have done that. I should have drawn it on my fingers for today.
Referencing actually a little homage, believe it or not, to The Night of the Hunter.
Yeah.
Yes. And In the Mood for Love, which we'll get to a little bit later. Everything Everywhere All at Once had their little Wong Kar-wai shout outs, homages in that movie as well. So we have two very influential films. But yeah, take us to the IMDb.
Oh yeah,
pages, brother. And just remind everyone, this is spoiler talk. These movies have been out forever, so we're going to talk spoilers. And these movies are kind of hard to not talk about spoilers, really.
Yeah, I feel like the whole
you have to.
Either you're talking around the movie the whole time, or you're talking about it.
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
But yeah, plus synopsis for those who have not seen The Hunter.
So, Night of the Hunter, a self-proclaimed preacher marries a gullible widow whose young children are reluctant to tell him where their real dad hid the $10,000 he'd stolen in a robbery.
Yes. Directed by, starring
Charles Laughton. Yeah, so Charles Laughton, fun story. This is the only movie that he directed. He was an actor, and he was like a really successful actor. And I think this is the only movie that he ever directed.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder why.
I don't know why, actually. You know, it's a Criterion movie, so there's a bunch of special features on it. And I know I watched them ages ago the first time I watched it.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just he's one of those people who had one film and it's just this absolute pitch perfect
Wow.
classic, and then for whatever reason just never did it again. I don't know if he got into it later in life and didn't have time to make another movie or
Yeah.
something like that, but
Well, I bought the 4K release recently from Kino Lorber, and there's some special features and audio commentary on here. So I'll let you know, brother. Like if they talk about it
yeah.
in the commentary, because that is fascinating. That's really fascinating. But starring the great Robert Mitchum. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother.
This was my first
The
introduction to
original
him
Cape
too.
Fear.
Yep.
Original Cape Fear actor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw this first before I saw Cape Fear. And so when I saw Cape Fear, I was very much like, yeah, that's Robert Mitchum. He's a creepy dude. He's a creepy, violent man. And like this movie, when I first saw it, I just wasn't ready for how dark it was, thematically and visually, like it's
Yeah.
just one of the darkest movies I've ever seen, I think.
Since you're still on the IMDb page,
Yeah.
what genres do they describe The Night of the Hunter?
So it's got crime, drama, film noir.
Okay, because they need to add fucking comedy
Yeah.
to this movie, or a dark comedy to
Yeah.
this movie, because this movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It is hilarious and creepy at parts. Great
Yeah.
suspense building, but it's hilarious. So I was always fascinated with the tattoos, the love and hate tattoos, and I was like, I sat my wife down. I'm like, we got to watch this movie, man. Let's do it. Let's go back in time. Let's watch this film. And we were not expecting. We were in shock at some parts of the movie, and then we couldn't stop laughing. And then I recently watched it for our review tonight, and right in the beginning of the movie, these kids are playing outside, and then they find a dead body, a female dead body, and then they report it and all that, and then it literally cuts to our lead in a car, driving all happily, and the first thing he says, I'm gonna botch it. The first thing he says is he's driving, he's like, Lord. I think that's the sixth one right now. By now, he's like, I think that's the sixth widow by now. I'm like, what? I was already busting up, dude. Like, that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah,
and he's just kind of like, Lord, I got another one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
he's
god,
like,
dude.
Thank you for all the wealth you've given me, or you've allowed me to take, kind of thing. And yeah, I love that too, because it's so upfront and twisted and deranged with how just fucking crazy this guy is. And like you said, it's the first thing he says, like, oh, I don't know, I've lost count, 6, 12. By the way, at the end of the movie, they say it's 25 women he's killed.
Yeah, I know. What is he talking about? Number 6?
Oh my god.
Unless I heard it wrong, but that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm rolling here. Justin here says, wow, never thought you guys would be featuring In the Mood for Love on this chat. I'm changing my style, Justin.
You know where it came from?
No more action and martial arts. That's it. We're just doing romantic movies. I'm going to start the Movie Dojo podcast will be transformed into the Lifetime channel moving forward.
The movie Love Den. Yeah. But if you can guess where this theme came from tonight.
Yes.
Hold on, the camera's backwards.
Before that, though, actually, remember I interviewed Jude Poyer. Make sure you guys check out the interviews. Like, it's so fucking epic. Watch the goddamn interview and share it, please, because Jude Poyer is a legend. But right at the end of that video, before we end the stream, I asked him what posters does he have in the background. And he had Apocalypse Now on this side, and he had In the Mood for Love on this side. And I was like, oh. And I still have not seen In the Mood for Love. I've never seen it. And I'll tell you why in a second. And then my boy here, I'm talking to my boy. I think it was the last Yin Yang. And when we got off the air, maybe we were chatting or something like that. And it was just like, hey, what should we do for the next Yin Yang? And he was like, let's do these two. And in The Night of the Hunter and In the Mood for Love. And the same position that Jude Poyer had his poster on the back. And then I told Lady Fatblood that, yeah, we're talking about In the Mood for Love tonight. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah. She was like, what is going on? I like literally She didn't know. She didn't see the posting that we were talking about this movie tonight. And she goes, "What is going on?" I literally watched this little Instagram short reel about the movie. This is like, it's,
So wild.
it's
I do
Dutch.
think
Yeah.
I do think people are talking about it again now for some reason that I don't really know about. I mean, I think with we're not talking about this movie yet. We can talk about it later, but I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of similarities to damn it. What is it just came out? Past Lives, the movie that's up for an Oscar now, which
Okay.
also is great. And but yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about In the Mood for Love.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
Yeah.
But back to the legend here. Now, you
Yeah.
know how we always say here on the channel, but me and Billy always say that Michael Shannon is God. That's our saying. Michael Shannon is God.
Yep.
There is a storm a coming. Right? Check out our review of that movie. Shelter, right?
Take Shelter.
Take Shelter, yeah.
Yeah.
Take Shelter. We had a blast talking about that one. But in this movie, Robert Mitchum is God.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is God.
I mean,
His performance, man. I mean,
he
it's
is
so good, bro.
unhinged, but like even the scenes where he's just sort of standing in the background, he's standing and leaning in such a way that's so intimidating
Yeah.
and that's a dude you want to avoid. And the line that really did it for me though was right in the beginning when he's talking to the dad and he's trying to get him to give up where he hid this $10,000.
Yeah.
And this guy's just not buying him. He's just like, "You're full of shit. I'm not going to talk to you."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, you're a preacher. What religion do you preach?" And Robert Mitchum says, "I preach what the Lord and I have worked out betwixt ourselves."
Betwixt.
Like, that's an insane thing to say.
Betwixt.
And then you just know, yeah, betwixt.
That word's used several times, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, if you say betwixt, I'm gonna avoid you anyway, but this was a really good example of that.
Oh man, but it's so good. But yeah, he gets caught and he gets put in prison, and that's where he meets. I think it's Peter Graves, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
is it Peter
yeah.
Graves?
Yeah, it is Peter Graves. Yeah.
Okay.
Super young Peter Graves.
Yeah, when he was talking to his son before he got arrested, I was waiting for him to say, "Hey, do you like gladiator movies?" Yeah. Airplane is one of the greatest comedies of all time, and in today's audience and this generation, you will not see another movie like Airplane, which makes it special. Like Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, he's God. He's so good. He's so good in this.
Yeah, it's not anyone that can sell that love and hate story, when he's talking about love on this hand and hate on this hand, and then they have this battle and struggle.
After that, I would have been like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But the town is they're so gullible.
Yeah.
It's not just the poor widow. The whole town just easily accepts him.
Because he's a man of God. He's a preacher.
Yeah. He's a man of God. Yeah. I'm a man of God. And got my left hand right here. Oh, love's taken away. Hate's gonna, but love's gonna win at the end. Love's gonna win in the end, sisters and brothers. And but that old lady, man, she was like had the hots for him, like immediately.
Yeah. I love to the old lady who's a friend of this Peter Graves' widow,
right,
is just like, "Oh, there's a preacher in town now. You need to marry him. You need to marry him now because you're a widow and you need a man and you've got 2 kids." And
everyone's got a fetish, I guess, of her as preachers.
Yeah, and then she has that whole speech about like, "Oh, I don't think about insinuating. I don't I don't think about sleeping with men. It's all like, it's all just necessity in a man." And then you just see her lusting after him the whole movie, just like staring at him with loving eyes and all.
Oh,
like,
man.
Oh man, she is hard up.
Yeah, hard up for sure. But Peter Graves robbed some people out of desperation and got some money for his family, but he got arrested. And you have the big moment in the beginning where he tells his son, "Don't, promise me you will not tell anyone about this money. Take it to the grave." And then the son sees his dad get knocked over his head, and he has this moment where he grabs his stomach he like grabs himself because he's like in shock of what he's looking at. Like his father, his hero, is getting beat up by the cops and arrested. And he's like, "No, don't stop it!" Right?
Yeah.
Which comes full circle. I was not expecting at the end of this movie again.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta say
but
too, there's something really different about seeing this movie with kids. Like I have 2 little boys, and
yeah,
watching that scene in the beginning, like it hits, like it really hits. Like, you're talking to your son for the last time. There's something really important that's gonna help him out. Like if I can't imagine myself in that kind of situation. If I I think if I
yeah.
were in that situation, I'd be like, listen, son, it's really important. Blu-rays are going to be scarce in the future. You need to protect my Blu-ray collection after I'm gone. Like that would be my conversation with my kid.
Oh my goodness, physical media for life, son.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
made the pact.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a and speaking of children, if you watch my channel, as long if you guys know how I am with child actors, it could sometimes ruin the film. It's like and there's people that are very forgiving. They're like, oh, they're children. But then you watch some Korean dramas, and the child actors are like, can you give them the Oscar? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's kind of like sometimes it's kind of like, oh no, they added a kid, or sometimes it could ruin a movie, and sometimes they're cool, right? I would have to say, the two children actors in this was great.
Yeah.
They were great, and do you know why? Because they acted like kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I think,
Why do we have this now where there's a lot of movies, recent films, where the children are talking and acting like adults
yeah.
and they're smarter than everyone. And I'm like, no, children do not talk like this.
Yeah. It's,
Don't,
I think that's a lot of like people that don't have kids writing kids. I feel like I can see that a little better
Mm,
now. Like when I see people trying to write kids, you're writing the idea of kids, and it's really like, you
yeah.
know, a parent is like, that's not a 6-year-old, man. I know that's not a 6-year-old.
It's
Even a
like,
smart 6-year-old wouldn't know this.
right.
And so it's a hard thing to know. I mean, you can't really fault people for it, but yeah, I do see that quite a bit now. Is
Yeah.
kids
It's
that are
like,
way too smart.
yeah, it's kind of like I'm not saying kids are dumb. I'm just saying I'm just saying when they're like Einstein compared
Yeah.
to the adults and the way they speak, it's just like no, stop. And these
Yeah.
two kids act like kids,
Yeah.
especially the little girl.
Mhm.
She's like poor thing, she's oblivious to what is happening.
Yeah.
Her mother gets killed. The John, her brother takes her away to escape Robert Mitchum's character, and she's just kind of like doesn't really know how to react. And then even though she just got chased by him, when she sees Robert Mitchum later, she drops her doll and runs to him.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be the new daddy. So she's so confused, and it's very realistic the way they act
Yeah. I think that's one
in
of the
the
reasons
film.
it's so affecting is like, yes, those are children. They don't know what to do. Like if they are left to their own devices, this guy will kill them and they are
Oh
not going
yeah.
to be able to defend him. Their like plan for getting away from him was basically hide in the basement, and then
Hmm.
also on top of the kids not the kids
Children,
being kids. Yeah.
children.
Children, I know you're down there, you're whispering. uh on top of them being kids and acting like kids, they also don't pull any punches with him. Like, he's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna pull you apart limb from limb if you don't tell me where that money is.
Yeah,
And there's even the scene when it really like reaches, I'm getting a little ahead of us, but when he
yeah,
finally is like, he's got the boy down, the boy's been the problem the whole time, got
right.
the boy down, he's got the knife in his hand, and he's
Yeah,
literally gonna like stab that kid to death.
yeah,
You're like, oh my god, like this guy is absolutely insane, and he's gonna do it. And I think that's one of the reasons like the movie is so affecting and so just like memorable. It leaves
yeah,
that lasting impression because yeah, they pull no punches, make
yeah.
them kids, and that dude wants them to die.
Yeah, he wanted that money. He wanted that
Yeah.
money. And he starts working on the daughter,
Hmm.
his sister, the John's sister. He tries to work on her because John's, like you said, is the problem. He's like picking her up, walking, walking her out of the room. We're gonna leave John alone now.
Yeah. John's
John, you're
what is
being a
his
problem.
Yeah, John is I forget the word he used. John's a troublemaker or something, and
Yeah.
like you just see him trying to drive that wedge, and it's just so cruel,
Yeah.
so cruel for
Samurai
innocent
said,
little kids.
Warrior says you have 30-year-olds playing high school kids and real kids acting 30 in many movies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was an old
Tropes.
70s, 80s staple too. Like you know, especially when you watch Christine.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
them high school kids in there look like they're about 35.
I remember watching Grease. I used to watch Grease a lot when I was younger, and yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that one dude that's like the villain in the other gang. I'm like, that dude is 45. Like, I know that guy's 45. He's like my dad's age.
yeah. Oh man, he Mr. Smooth gets out of prison, uh, hunts down Peter Graves' widow, and he smooths his way right in, charms the town, and charms her very quickly.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like she forgot about Peter Graves like really like fast.
Yeah. Watching it again this time, I've always remembered her as just kind of a naive character
Hmm.
that knows nothing and that's just
Yeah,
sort of desperate for someone else. But watching it this time, I was kind of surprised because she does resist the idea in the beginning. She's like, I don't
right.
know if I'm over my husband, that was
Yeah,
all traumatic. But then her old lady friend who's thirsty for Robert Mitchum talks her into it. And then she just goes in head first. And,
yeah,
he just wins her over. There's a really depressing and sort of shocking scene where she's like, all right, it's our wedding night. It's time now. And you could tell she's like, I really need this connection with somebody. And he's like,
yeah.
shames her for
That was
wanting to share the bed with him.
yeah,
And you could just see like it destroys her inside. And
yeah,
then he
yeah.
just like very quickly molds her into what he
Yep.
wants.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up. But when she was like, excuse me, I think they were at the barbecue, bringing
Mhm.
in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, the bringing in the sheaves barbecue. When she goes over there and Mitchum goes over there and starts. What's his character's name again? I don't have the
It's
IMDb up.
Harry Powell.
Harry. When Harry goes over there and they start, getting close and talking and cuddling. Was I wrong, or was the old lady friend Thirsty? We're gonna call her old lady Thirsty.
Mhm,
Was
mhm.
she like after kind of setting them up? She went back to the table with the other women, and was it? Did I read it wrong? But was she talking shit on? Was it Shirley Winters?
Oh,
Was it?
I don't know. Maybe.
It,
I
it
think she
kind of
was I
sounded
think
like
she was saying
it kind of felt like she was like, well, if she doesn't do anything, there's other fish in the sea out there. There's
that's
other.
right. That's right. She
It's
was
like
like
talking
she was
shit.
ridiculing the idea of letting him
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
After she was trying to set them up. People, man. People.
Yeah. And then also to jump forward to the end a little bit too, like when after it's all said and done and Robert Mitchum's been caught and like
Yeah.
they know he's this crazy murderer, she's the one that's like, hang him, go
Dude.
lynch him. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, what a
She, yeah,
what a
she's
wild
the
character.
first one to lead the riot.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that at the end here.
Yeah.
But uh yeah, he leans in her everlasting arms. And they eventually get married. And man, dude, there's so many dark and haunting, beautiful shots
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
movie.
the cinematography in this movie is like outstanding. Watching it again this time, I was still like, wow, look at that. And my wife actually pointed out, she said it looks like a children's storybook every time. Like it's obviously a stage, but
Yeah.
it's so stylized and so just sort of stark contrasty. It looks like a child's storybook. And I was like, I never
Yeah.
really made that connection, but that tracks. Like it's really interesting.
Wow, yeah, she nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning of the movie, before we get the hilarious introduction to our character, well, I killed another one, Lord. Um, the movie opens up with a song.
Hmm.
And when me and my wife were watching this, we were like, oh no, did we make a mistake? We're like, did we make a mistake here? It opens up with this very nice song and it shows the night sky, and you see these children's heads superimposed in the
Yeah.
sky,
Floating
and you
in
see
this.
the old lady and stuff. And we were like, what is going on? And it was really interesting because the movie almost feels surreal, or what's the word I'm looking for? Fantastical at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like a dark children's fantasy in a way.
Yeah,
There's
it
these
it
moments, yeah.
it feels a lot like some sort of fairy tale or religious thing. Shelley Winters, yeah.
Yeah.
Shelley Winters, I didn't realize that her career had stretched so far back before this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I don't remember at all her looking this young.
No,
I don't remember that.
yeah.
But yeah, back to the movie, you know, he's trying to get in there to get that money.
But
And
she doesn't know. The dad has only told the kids. The kids are the only ones that know where the money is.
exactly. And there's again the dark comedy moments, man. Like when like she's in the bathroom looking at her face, she's making sure she looks pretty, you know, for their honeymoon night.
Yeah.
And she opens up the door, and when she opens up the door, his dark coat is hanging on the door, and she reaches in and pulls out the knife. She finds that the preacher has a knife, and guess what she says? Man.
Yeah.
Then she puts the knife.
Man, puts it back in and goes to
I'm
try to
like,
sleep
dude,
with
this
him.
is the dark comedy. This is
Yeah.
hilarious.
So we were watching it with a friend who hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
And there were moments like that where we busted up laughing. Like she just lost her mind. She's like, what? So it does such an interesting job of like highlighting the absurdity of falling for someone like that. Like
Yeah.
that opening scene that with the head superimposed and the old lady talking about these Bible stories and stuff. She's talking about beware false prophets.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of what you see
Yeah.
everyone. You see her fall for this guy, even though she's literally got that knife in her hand. She's like, men, yeah, so
Ma
silly, but he's a
man.
preacher, he's a man of God.
Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a great point because they quote the verse, like the whole wolves in sheep's clothing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what he is. And it doesn't go well. It does not go well. Does not go well. And again, dude, the way he got up off the bed,
Oh yeah.
he was like,
Yeah,
like,
oh, him
like he's levitating off the bed.
so insane.
Like
Like,
he gets off the bed to go get his knife.
yeah, and he like raises it up slowly towards the sky, and I'm like, and I've seen it before, and I'm like, what is he doing? But then you realize what he's doing,
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, that's when he knows he's gonna murder her,
it's brilliant. Yeah,
and it's
it's
so scary. Just like
yeah.
see how unhinged he is.
And she's just laying there, like clueless, like about what's going to happen to her. You
Yeah.
know,
She's like
um,
preaching like he does, like just spouting off biblical nonsense,
yeah,
not really saying anything. And as he's
yeah,
like bringing the knife down slowly to her, she's got her
yeah.
eyes closed. And
Let's see, in the Western
oh, I've never
five
seen
card
Five Card
stud.
Stud.
Ooh, we're gonna have to check that one out too.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a future yin yang. We'll see.
there you go.
But I actually want to start reviewing more westerns. So
Nice.
we could just westerns on their own. So, but yeah, I mean, y'all know you know your boy Samurai loves the martial arts, action, and horror. That's what I'm all about. We'll put a little bit of that sci-fi spice on it. But it's nice to watch something outside the box, something I'm
Yeah.
not used to watching, which we'll get to with our next movie. And it's nice to talk about films. Is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't go well. And again, this is a perfect. I mean, this is the best shot I could find. This shot doesn't do it justice. But again, you
I
have
know exactly what you're talking about.
yes, the opening part of the movie where you have the song, right, the little jingle, and you have the kids' heads superimposed in the night sky. We're like, oh, this is a kids movie? Like, what is this, right? And then you have that, right? And then this movie gives you one of the most creepy and I guess iconic like horror scenes out of nowhere when you find out where he stashed her body, Shelley Winter's body, her character's body underwater. And dude, how the fuck, bro, did they do this shot? Look at the shot, everybody watching right now. Look at this. This
Yeah.
is fucking creepy, bro.
It's so creepy, and it's such a beautiful shot too.
Yes.
And they knew it too because they hold on it for like a solid 20 seconds, I feel like.
Like, how did they do that? Do you know like behind
No,
the
I don't.
scenes?
I don't. But it is like stunning, and I know that people talk about that shot, and it's so shocking, because there is a little, that he kills her in the bed, like
Right.
that he kills her with the knife,
The
but
way
you
the way he leans the knife over, he's like,
very gracefully and artfully, poetically stabs her. But like there's still a little ambiguity because you don't see the knife
right,
go in or anything. It
right.
is 55 after all, but there's a little ambiguity as to what happened to her
Yeah.
until they suddenly cut to that shot of her just underwater in the car,
Out of nowhere too.
hair
Yeah,
floating, like
yeah.
seaweed float. It's just so intensely scary.
Yeah, I think there was a scene transition right before that where someone's talking about her, like
Yeah.
where's she at, where she's been, and it goes immediately to underwater, where he put the car and put her. And again, when I watch this again with the audio commentary, I'm sure they're going to explain how the
Mhm.
hell this is like one of the most haunting images. Again, took me and Lady Fabula by surprise.
Yeah.
Because again, they have the jingle beginning and the kids and the thing, it's just like, oh, death.
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
again,
also
you
at
nailed
that
it.
point,
Beautiful
yeah,
as well, the way it's shot.
it's
It's
so
like
haunting
crazy.
because I
Yep.
think because what it means for those kids too. That he realized she didn't know where the money was, so she was useless to him, and now she's for sure dead. She's underwater. We don't know if they're gonna find her,
Yeah.
and he's just him left with those kids. There's no one in between now,
Yeah.
and so it just heightens everything in
Yeah.
that one image that's like so startling and beautiful, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he starts to make his move on those kids. He's coming. He's like, all right, no more fucking around. I need to
Yeah.
get that money. Look at this fucking shot.
Uh-huh.
Dude, what is this, Nosferatu?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, look at this. This is so good, so good.
Yeah.
While he's walking around singing, leaning. But
Lots of
again,
singing in this movie. Lots of creepy singing.
yes, yes, yes. But again, back to the dark comedy. They're hiding in the cellar. They're hiding in the cellar, and he's like, "We gotta get out of here." He's like, "Where are we gonna go, John?" And he's like, "I don't know, but we gotta get away from him." And then right after that, the his sister goes, "Is mom dead?" Like right after that, out of nowhere, and he goes, "Probably, yeah." He's like, "I think so."
Hey, I'm just gonna be real with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yeah. And then he comes down there. Oh my god! And the way he's chasing them up the steps with his
Yeah.
arms out, and he's like Scooby Doo villain running after them.
Yeah.
And then he falls. I was like, oh my god, this is a dark comedy. There's a saying. I've heard a lot of people say that there's no dark comedy did not exist in the old golden era. But
Mhm.
watch The Invisible Man, and I dare you
Yes.
not to. I dare you not to laugh.
Yes. Yes. That's such a good
I
reference for that.
dare
'Cause
you
yeah,
not to laugh.
that movie's bonkers. It's so
It's
funny.
it's my favorite. It's
I
my
think
I didn't know I was gonna love it that much. And I
same.
went and bought like an action figure statue of Claude Rains. I'm
Is it
like,
just the
this is
platform and there's no actual character there?
I see what you did there. That would be hilarious actually. They sell the package and there's no figure in it. The Invisible Man. That would be, you know what? I would buy that and hang it on the wall.
Oh, yeah, no,
That would
you
be
have to, yeah.
hilarious, actually. But oh my god, that movie.
Yeah, I think the comedy
Oh
in
my
this
god.
movie too, like the sort of absurdity of it, the dark
Yeah.
absurdity, it for me always lends to how fucking creepy it is
Mhm.
because that him chasing them up the stairs, it's almost like slapstick,
Yeah.
and then gets to another one of the like another one of the more iconic moments of the movie when they make it out to the little boat and
Oh
they're
my
pushing it out
god.
into the river. They go through the mud, you know exactly where I'm going.
Oh my god. And
And
he's
then
chasing
it's
after them, yeah.
really tense. He's coming through. You don't know where he's coming. Finally, he shows up and they get in the water and they just pull away. And then he stands up and realizes he's in the middle of the water. And I'm gonna attempt this. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna blow you up.
Okay, yeah, here it goes. And then he just does this when he realizes he's standing in water. He goes, But he
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
turns into like a little kid.
He like throws a tantrum
It's
and
so
screams.
fucking weird. and it just makes me, it made my skin crawl because it was so creepy.
Especially, you know, like you referenced earlier, like or we mentioned earlier, the whole movie, he's calm, collected, in charge.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you know, I'm a preacher, and the Lord has put me here, and you know, he's kind of like you know, very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Very poised, like authoritative. Yeah. Like,
Yes, and then out of nowhere, which which when we get to the climax, it happens again, and
yeah.
me and Fat Blood, our jaws dropped. We could not stop laughing. We're like, this is the greatest movie.
Oh,
Like, this
yeah.
was like one of the best surprises.
It
And
is such
we
an
were just like,
interesting choice too, because you
yeah,
just see how unhinged he is just for those glimpses of like just a second of like that's like an animal, like that's animalistic behavior. That
yeah.
is, there's not a human in there. But you know what it reminds me of? It Death Proof, when Kurt Russell gets shot in the arm
Yes,
and he
yes.
just starts going, he starts sobbing and crying like a
I'm
toddler.
sorry.
I was just playing around.
Nobody got that movie, bro.
I love that movie. I
Dude,
also have a
we
Death Proof poster that'll be up here eventually.
yeah, dude. Like when we saw that in theater, we saw the Grindhouse Experience. We watched both
Same, yeah.
movies back to back, and people brought their kids.
Oh no.
I'm not talking about Timmy and Bimmy or Jimmy and Bimmy. That's cool. You know, their parents are cool with it. They're like, yeah, we show our kids R-rated movies. They know it's fantasy, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about toddler baby.
Mm-mm.
I'm talking baby's day out. Like, what are you doing?
That's insane.
What are
Death
you
Proof would be
doing?
like, this is a bunch of people talking, and then 2 cool car crashes, and then
Yeah,
but
nobody. I don't think anybody got that film. We got it instantly, and when that scene in the movie happened, we were busting up in the theater.
oh
Man.
yeah, no, I had an absolute blast watching
But
Death
I
Proof.
don't even Quentin. I don't even think Quentin's a fan of Death Proof.
Really?
I don't think it's one of his
Interesting.
favorites. Yeah, it's interesting. I was like, I thought he nailed it. I thought it was for the genre he was representing. I thought he did
Yeah.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stunt work in that. But yeah, so now you know the kids are on the run. They get in the boat to go upriver. They're tired. They're starving, and they find this abandoned barn. They sneak in because they got to sleep. You know, rest. All right, I'm gonna stop singing. Children rest. Again, same movie with children's songs. Death.
Yep.
So they sleep. They finally get some rest, and when they think the coast is clear, leaning, he's coming. He's still on the prowl. He's still,
and what a perfect shot that is too.
Look at this.
Like that's like where all this like surreal feeling comes in, because like obviously a stage, obviously a set, but I mean it's so striking and compelling, and like I don't know, yeah, kid's storybook is what it looks like.
It just works though.
Yeah.
It just works. And then poor John wakes up and he's like, this dude is still hunting us. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. What does he say? Doesn't he ever sleep?
Yeah. And then he wakes
Probably
up.
not.
He wakes up his sister, and they're on the run again. And then they come across this family, kind of like this. They kind of hint at this badass old lady.
Yeah.
We got old lady thirsty, and we got old lady badass. This character is great too, because you know, she kind of mentioned where she lost her son, and then now she's kind of like a surrogate mother to these orphans, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, this character right here, she's great.
Yeah.
What I love about her character is that as soon as the preacher man shows up, because he finds out his kids are there, or you know, the 2 kids are there, she instantly recognizes the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like instantly, like she's like, all right, let me go get my gun. You need to get the fuck off property,
You're not a
man.
preacher. Like,
Yeah,
no.
she like instantly recognizes he speaks the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instantly, right? And I was like, yeah, that's right. Especially when you have the whole movie full of gullible people.
Oh, yeah,
The
it was
town,
such
it
a
was
relief
nice.
to find
Yeah.
her, honestly, just to hear
Yeah.
someone talking sense.
Exactly, for sure. We never came back and revisited the old man friend of John, did we? Like
No,
once he went to him for help because he was
he
being
was
chased,
drunk.
and but he was drunk because he found the body, but he was
Yeah,
scared to report it because he thought maybe he killed
they were gonna pin it
Shelley
on him.
Winters.
Yeah, he
But
the body was
we never
under
went
his
back to
lake.
him.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
but
think
he was
so.
drunk, and so he was useless to them, so they just ran off. They went down the river, and
Right.
that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, she's a great character. And look at that shot right
Oh,
there. Look at that shot. Yeah, he's on the prowl. And I kind of skipped a scene here, but when he gets into town, all the way to the left there, the
yeah,
oldest uh
Ruby.
uh yeah, Ruby, the oldest orphan, she, she's a teenager and she wants to hang out with other teens, and maybe find the love of her life out there, right? She doesn't know what she's doing, but she ends up leaving and going out in the evening, and she runs into Harry, and Harry's like, I heard you got two little kids of mine there, John and the other one. Is there perhaps a doll there? And she's like, I'm not saying nothing until you buy me an ice cream,
Yeah.
right?
She's like, "All
So
right, I'm
they
gonna
go in
fucking
there,
ice cream."
yeah. So they go in there, and he's feeding her, and he's really working on her, sweet talking her, like, you're the prettiest little thing I've ever laid eyes on. And then she starts to tell him about the kids and that they're there and the doll's there. Once she tells him the doll's there, he bounces.
Mhm.
And when he leaves, she runs after him, grabs his arm, and she's still trying to flirt with him. Like she still wants that attention. She's like, don't I have the prettiest little eyes, And then I heard a sound, and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell was that? I rewinded the scene. I went back a couple seconds. I played it again, and I was like, "Oh my god, he was getting ready to stab her," and I didn't
His
catch that
his
the first
pocket,
time
yeah.
I didn't catch that the first time we watched this film way back.
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
Yeah, because he like puts his hand in his pocket, and you hear the switchblade open, and I was like, "Dude, he's like not having it right now. He does not like get the fuck away from me. Stop, you're bothering me, right?" And he's like, he was gonna stab her right there, but he changed his mind, obviously, because there's people around.
Yeah.
But he thought about it. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't catch that the first
Yeah,
time we
he's
watched it.
just ready to murder anyone who is useless to him, anyone who's getting in his way or bothering him. Like, another jumping back to the beginning of the movie,
Mhm.
uh, he's just in that opening scene, he's talking about how he's all these people who have sinned and they deserve to be murdered and all this stuff. And then you see him at like a strip show, like a
Yeah,
burlesque show, and
yeah.
he's just staring, like judging everyone, like, oh God, all these people. And then he looks up and he's like, there's too many to kill in here. I can't kill them all. Jesus Christ, what are you doing there?
IMDb, please. Dark comedy. Please add that to the genres. Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. But
Yeah,
that was hilarious
but
before he
just
gets
seeing him
arrested.
ready with the switchblade at all times, he'll just put his hand in his pocket, just take it out and stab somebody because he's just ready to murder all the sinners and all the curly haired sinners. Jeez, man.
He's like, I can't kill the world. He's like, I can't kill all the world. I'm like,
But
oh my
also, I
God.
love how they bring him in with Ruby in that scene because you see her just being kind of a ditzy girl and she
Yeah,
just wants to find a boy. She has a boyfriend, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And you see her walking up to the teenage boy that she's been flirting with. And then all of a sudden, Robert Mitchum just swoops right in front. He's like, I hear you got two kids. And then just takes right over. And you can just see how effective his whole shtick is.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, for
wild.
sure. Effective until he meets old lady badass.
Yes.
She was like, this dude, he speaks the bullshit. So after chasing him away, he does what he does best. He's just creeping outside, just waiting
Mhm.
for his opportunity. And what's insane and hilarious at the same time, he sings his, the leaning song. He sings it. But inside the house, old lady's sitting there chilling with the shotgun, waiting, just like, yeah, come on in, try me. Try me, preacher. Come on in. And while he's singing outside, she starts singing inside.
Yeah, I love that
Like, so
scene.
she can hear, so make sure he can hear her. Like, yeah, I'm here.
Uh-huh.
I'm here. Yeah.
And I
Come on
just
in the
love
house.
so much that moment too. They're just two sides of the same coin. Like,
Yeah.
hey, she knows the Bible too, and she knows
Yeah.
the other side of it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you got that love and hate coming in. Like,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
love that scene so much. I remember watching it for the first time and being like, "Yep, this is writing right here. This is storytelling. This is writing."
Yeah. She's
One of those
great.
awe-inspiring moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
her whole thing is just so great. Just like no bullshit. Just take care
Yeah.
of these kids who need care, and like she knows
Yeah.
what they need. She's gonna give them what they need.
Yeah. And John starts to open up too.
Hmm.
The longer he spends with her, he starts to finally open up and accept her, and they have this connection. But dude, I don't know how he got in the house because she was waiting there the whole time.
Yeah.
But I just want you've seen this movie way more times than I have. Okay, was he spooked by a cat, and that was what made him reveal himself awkwardly,
Yeah.
and then she took a shot at him?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I got that then.
Again, I want to try to do an impression of how this went. Hold on, I'm gonna move my chair because
Okay,
this is required for
yeah,
this.
this is
The creepiest, the
this is epic.
creepiest scene, right? He's sneaking around this murderer sneaking around the house to murder little kids,
You
and
don't
then
see
you
him.
see it. You don't see him, but you know he's there. And a cat runs down the stairs, and then you see this. And he bolts.
Oh my god, you nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah, just out of nowhere.
He
Out of
just
nowhere, he
pops
just
up
pops up like,
scared of
oh
the cat.
shit. He's like, oh shit, I've been revealed. And then she shoots him in the arm, and his scream after getting shot and running out of the house into the barn outside.
Oh,
Our jaws dropped and we
again,
were in
yeah,
shock and we could not stop laughing.
just like an animal, like a young baby animal. Like I can't that I don't even remember because it was yeah,
It
same
sounded
thing.
like a
We were just
cartoon
like,
character.
what the hell is he doing?
Oh,
And then
oh,
it's
there.
like not a fight at all. He bolts. He just
Yeah,
runs because he's hurt and
yeah.
terrified. And
Oh
yeah,
my god. You don't mess with old lady badass.
nope.
That's not how that works. And she calls the cops. And what does she say again on the phone? She says,
Get your deputies over here or something. Like
yeah, but
I've
she
got
says,
something
he's like,
trapped in the barn.
yeah, he's in the barn.
Yeah.
He's in the barn.
And then he just is. He just
Yeah.
went and hid in the barn.
All night. And then
Yeah.
they get him in the morning. And again, that scene coming full circle. He gets arrested by the cops. They hit him over the head. They start arresting him. And John has like almost like a PTSD moment and grabs his stomach again.
Mhm.
And then says what he shouted to his father. He was having like a mental breakdown flashback there.
Yeah.
Like, no, stop, don't. And then he kind of runs at Harry and starts hitting him with the doll, and all the money starts coming out. And he's just like, like, this is too much. I can't do this anymore, Dad.
Yeah.
He's gone. John is gone. He breaks
Yeah.
at that point, and then he kind of faints. And she takes care of the old lady badass takes care of him, and then it becomes a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a Christmas movie. It becomes It's a Wonderful Life at the same time with a mob.
Yeah, with a lynch
going,
mob.
yeah, lynch mob. Yeah, so old lady Thirsty is the first one, like, let's get him. So
Yeah.
she creates this mob, the town mob, and he killed 25 women. We got to get him. Very Christian like.
String him up.
Very,
Yeah.
very Christian like behavior.
And he's just like nothing at that point. He doesn't
No.
say anything. He doesn't do anything. He just looks
No.
like a frightened little kid, and he's
Yeah.
just being dragged around, and they
Yeah.
shove him in the back of a police car to get him away from the mob, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Then you don't even talk about him anymore.
Another thing I didn't notice the first time until I watched it again was the beginning. Another thing that comes full circle. The beginning, the priest who's usually there to see the hangings and the execution.
Oh yeah, the hangman. Yeah.
Right, the hangman, right? He's there. He's just like, I can't. Was he a priest or was he?
I don't remember. I
I'm trying to
actually don't
remember.
remember if he was the priest, but I know that he was the one
Because
that
his wife
was
said his wife
there for
mentioned
the hanging.
right, 'cause that's why I assumed he was there to kind of do the whole biblical religious thing.
Yeah.
But, like, his wife was kinda like, "Well, you don't have to be there when they die," you know?
Yeah.
But yes, he was just like it's kind of his job, so he kinda reads them their biblical rights, I guess, sends them off. But he was, like, kinda depressed about it, and he just doesn't wanna be there for the he's getting tired of it, right? Well, right at the end of the movie, he comes back to that character. You never see that character again. To the very end of the movie, and you see the car pull up with Mitchum in it before they take him off for his hanging. And what does the cop tell the character? He's like, "Hey, you gonna be there?" And he's all happy. He's like, "I wouldn't miss it for the world."
Yeah. It'll be a pleasure this
Yes,
time.
there you go.
Like, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like beautiful symmetry to that too. Just
yeah,
having a character who hangs Peter Graves' character, so
yeah.
John's real dad, and is depressed. He didn't want to do it, doesn't feel good about it,
But
And then
this
at the end, like
motherfucker, this
this guy, yeah,
dude,
fuck
I
this
know
guy.
we gonna hang this dude.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna party. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, yeah, but, yeah, that was interesting. I thought that was kinda comical as well, but it does end with, I'm almost saying It's a Wonderful Life
Yeah.
kinda Christmas movie moment. Is it confirmed? Is that confirmed? Then, The Night of the Hunter is a Christmas movie. Confirmed. Confirmed! This movie
I'm
right
gonna
here!
confirm it. Yeah,
Fuck it.
Christmas.
Fuck it, Billy. This is a
I
Christmas
have
film.
I do have a drowned mother ornament that goes on my tree most of the time. Yeah. The headlights light up. It's great. Yeah.
So all you need to do now is have that shot of him getting scared by the cat. Have that on like a Christmas card.
Also, people who haven't seen it, you might think I'm exexaggerating about that.
No,
That's exactly what
no,
it
you
is.
nailed
It's
it. That was
so
perfect.
bizarre.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. But yeah, it ends as a happy moment. John, throughout the film, was looking at the shop and he wanted this watch, and she bought him the watch at the end, and he
Mhm.
kind of gave her. He had nothing to give her. He kind of gave her this apple. And it was a great moment. Ruby got a gift. All the kids got a gift, and then old lady badass had some words of encouragement out there. And then the movie ends. This is a classic. If you guys have not seen this film, please watch it. And it's just
So good.
again, it's one of those movies where it's you when you're done watching it, you may or may not be like Samurai Guy. But when I watch movies like this and the next film, spoiler alert, it's almost like you take a sigh, you're like, it's it's nice to watch good movies.
Mhm.
It's so nice to watch and experience good movies,
Yeah.
you
And like
know.
this one too, this is one of my favorite, like all-time favorites because it was so affecting and so memorable when I watched it the first time that I just remembered it. I remembered it really well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that's, it's the 50s. It's very dated with
Yeah. Mhm.
some of the performances, some of the whatever,
Yeah.
uh but all that stuff at the end of the movie for me goes away and you just remember the core of it. Like the characters are so well drawn and like the images in it are so memorable and yeah, I just it's
Yeah.
I'm in awe of this movie and what they were able to achieve in the 50s with the darkness and the creepiness and like I said, having kids and stuff,
Yeah.
having a journey like this for
Mhm.
the kids is
Right. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine.
really affecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just think about how we're affected with this movie watching it now. Could you imagine watching it back then?
I'm trying to think of things to compare it to, and I don't remember the last time I was weirded out in a movie that like took me by surprise like that. Maybe, I mean, this is a really weird random reference, but Poor Things. I just watched Poor Things in the theater, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people were uncomfortable and weird in that one.
Yeah. How was that?
I mean, I loved it.
It was
It's
good? Okay.
very strange,
Okay.
but
We
it's
like strange.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
if you like strange, it's another one that's artistically on point. Like they know what they're doing. They're very confident about it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
I heard correct me if this is wrong or right. I heard some people say that this is a modern day artsy fartsy version of Frankenhooker.
I have not seen Frankenhooker,
Oh, okay, never mind then.
but it sounds accurate.
That's kind of funny, actually. If that's legit, let us know if you guys have seen Poor Things. Is it a big budget artsy version of Frankenhooker? Please let us know in the comments. But yeah, Night of the Hunter. Please check it out. Please watch it.
Also, before we move on, can I just quickly point out that the way that you have
Oh,
arranged the video and the images behind you, it looks like it's your hands that are doing the love and hate thing below the video.
oh,
I just noticed
hilarious. Screenshot.
Sorry, I just noticed it as you were sitting there.
I don't know where this image disappeared, but yeah, this is the mob.
Oh, that's yeah.
The old lady Thirsty, who was so in love with the preacher, like she was the one leading the mob, and they were trying to hang him. And,
believe it or not, that's the
him.
happy ending right there.
Yeah. Right after this, it's becomes It's a Wonderful Life, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brandon says Tubi here, so maybe Night of the Hunter's on Tubi.
Oh, it might be. It
if you guys don't
pops
have
up around, yeah.
If you don't have Max, check it out on Tubi there. We're gonna have some fun screenshots after this. I'm gonna have to do some highlights. I gotta show. It's gonna be a short. Or
it has to be. Yeah,
it has to be. Anyway, next up, we have In the Mood for Love, and go ahead and tell us about the cast, who's in it, and directed by, and the plot synopsis.
Yeah, so writer-director Wong Kar-wai, and In the Mood for Love. It was, what year was it? 2000. Two neighbors form a strong bond after both suspect extramarital activities of their spouses. However, they agree to keep their bond platonic so as not to commit similar wrongs. That sounds like a Samurai Guy movie if I've ever heard it. Let's see.
Sorry,
you're good.
I had to blow my nose there.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I'm still recovering from being under the weather, guys.
Oh, no.
And, allergies, and I had COVID. It's been a rough one for your boy here.
Oh, man.
But hopefully you guys are enjoying the content tonight. But yeah, so I know what you're asking, Billy. Well, Samurai Guy, you love Hong Kong cinema. You like all this stuff and everything. Come on. Why have you not seen In the Mood for Love? Because the title is In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Maggie Cheung and Tony Leung. Tony Leung is definitely one of the best things about Shang-Chi. But we know him from Hard Boiled and so many classics. I was thinking about it. That scene in Shang-Chi where he goes in and kills all of the gangsters right in front of his son, and then kneels down in front of his son and tells him, "This is how we roll. This is how you do things." That scene right there might be the best scene that Marvel has done for a mainstream movie theater release since Endgame, not counting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
Since the whole phase after Avengers Endgame, that one scene might be the best scene Marvel has done, because you don't really get scenes like that in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and it's funny. Tony Leung.
And I apologize. Apologize if you hear my cat in the background. But go ahead.
As every time I hear it, I'm going to do this.
Oh, we're on a roll tonight. Yeah. Oh my God! Please like this video and share it, please. Anyway,
I just remember seeing Tony Leung in that movie in Shang-Chi, and just being like, "Yeah, that's a movie star. That's a very clear movie star."
Oh yeah,
and
Infernal Affairs, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but you can just tell. Like, some people just absolutely have it.
Yeah,
and him in the Mood for Love. It's
amazing.
It's amazing. He's just standing there. So much of the movie is just pensive, and these long moments of longing from a distance, and all this, and it's just people being statuesque, and it's incredibly compelling.
Right.
And you can't really do that without someone who's a natural movie star like that.
Yeah, and you have a great director, knows how to highlight, but these actors, and Maggie Cheung's great too. It's funny when you see Maggie Cheung in this movie, and then you watch her earlier movies, she's always really energetic, bubbly,
Yeah.
laughing a lot, you know, and then you see her in this, it's like, whoa, but that proves why she's one of the greats.
Yeah.
But have you seen Infernal Affairs?
I have not. I have not seen
Well,
Infernal
put it
Affairs.
on your
Now
list. I think there's a box set
there is,
on
yeah.
Criterion. Is it Criterion?
It is I think it's streaming on Criterion Channel right
Oh, there
now
you go.
too, so I might be able to check it out
Well,
there.
that influenced The Departed.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
influenced
I think
another
I
great
know The
movie.
Departed really well, so I feel like Infernal Affairs, I'm like, I
It
feel like
may
I
not
know it
hit.
all.
It may not hit the same. You think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it because I wanna see it and
Yeah.
I like everyone
See
involved
the
with it, so
inspiration. Yeah. Yeah.
but
But yeah, again, back to me. Like, if you guys know me, you've been watching the channel for a long time. What's this channel about, right? Martial arts, action, and horror. I am not the biggest romantic film fan. The movies like The Notebook, haven't seen it. Give me some other ones.
uh Notting Hill.
Haven't seen it.
When Harry Met Sally.
Never seen it. I heard
Uh
that's actually funny though.
Notting Hill?
So no,
Yeah,
no.
that's
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally. Oh yeah, that one's pretty great. Maybe that's a bad
I
example.
love the director. I love
Sleepless in
I love
Seattle.
Spinal Tap.
Oh,
No,
there you go.
no.
Wait, what's the other one?
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail. That's the other one I was trying to think of.
Any more sappy, super sappy ones?
Ooh, super sappy
A whole
ones.
bunch of sap on
The
it.
Holiday.
Nope. None of that.
I could. Oh man, I could just like look behind me, and there's references in here to the Jane Austen book club. You have no idea how many times I've seen the Jane Austen book club.
Right. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And if you guys know Lady Fat Blood, it's not really her thing either. But if a movie's a great Shakespeare in Love, that's another one.
Oh, sure.
Oh, by the way, I was one of the ones that was pissed that Shakespeare in Love. This is when I started like the Oscars are sus. when Shakespeare in Love won so many awards and then it beat, what was it? What came out that year?
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan. I was like,
I think that still has everyone scratching their heads.
yeah. I was like, all right, I'm gonna.
I
stop
like
watching
Shakespeare
the
in Love.
Oscars.
I think Shakespeare in Love is great, but
Okay.
I think at the same time, like you're also up against maybe one of the best war films of all time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
but you know what it is. You know how it is. Politics, baby. Well, anyway, yeah, it's just not my thing. It's not my thing, and I don't bash people that love this genre. That's not what I do. But if a movie's a great movie, it's a great movie, despite what genre it is. And I don't mind so much love in films or maybe even a little bit of a romance. If it's, part of the story, it could be an action movie. It could be a horror movie. It could be a Western that has love in it and has romantic themes in it. But if it works for those other genres, I don't have an issue with it. I love The Princess Bride. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies of all time. I saw that when I saw that in theater when I was young. It's one of my favorites. But what else does Princess Bride have? It's got excellent sword fights. It's got comedy. Yeah. You killed my father. Prepare to die. It's got great iconic one-liners. It's got tons of dark comedy and real comedy in it. See. So when you have a lot of the great food to eat for the buffet, it's like, yeah, romance is there. All right, I'll eat a little bit of that, and it's fine, right?
Hey, Near Dark is a romance,
As you wish. Right? Yeah. Inconceivable. All right, now what am I, Daffy Duck? Okay, so. But yeah, it's not really my go-to thing. But if I watch a movie, it's a great movie, and that's in there, I don't mind it. But this movie, man, what did I think about it? Well, I kind of spoiled it earlier. But this movie, dude, I was like, when I got done, again, I sighed and I was like, oh, it's nice to watch great movies. But this is a fascinating movie. Yeah. This movie, you can rewatch multiple times and you'll pick things up that you didn't pick up the first time. I watched some video essays on YouTube. I had to. after I
Yeah.
watched this movie because I was just like, I'm interested to hear what other people think of the film. And you really could study this movie, but Wong Kar-wai's directing, like the style of directing, the camera angles, the low shots. There's a lot of low shots
Yeah.
in the film, and he kind of referenced that him around that era. He was a child. He was young, so that's why the shots are low. And it's just really fascinating
Yeah.
and tragic and sad and one of the rare cases where me samurai guy, I wanted them, spoiler alert, I wanted them to get together.
Yeah.
Now a romantic film is good when a guy who doesn't really like romantic movies, I'm like, oh, they got to get together. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. It does not work out that way, which I think
Mm.
makes the movie stay with you
Yeah.
and you feel, a movie that makes you feel, Billy. What are we
Who'd have
talking
thunk
about?
it? You know?
But just absolutely gorgeous and
Yeah.
very, very dreamlike. The atmosphere is very
Yeah.
dreamlike
It's
throughout the
almost
film.
like a David Lynch love story. Like,
Yeah,
so I took a bunch of notes. I weirdly didn't take any notes watching Night of the Hunter because I feel like I could talk about that movie just effortlessly.
yeah,
In the Mood for Love, though, I started watching it and I'd seen it a couple times before, so I knew what it was.
yeah,
But I was like noting all these things, and I just kept saying like, it's got this style that's both like hyper stylized and surreal, but also gritty and realistic.
hmm,
And so it really gives the sense that you're watching real people in a different world, and
yeah.
that's just it's absorbing and uh yeah, and it's just beautiful to look at. It's one of the, I think this is maybe one of the top 5 most beautiful films ever shot, because every single frame I was just like audibly gasping. And like I said, I've seen it before, but it's
Yeah.
still shocking. It's just everything's like a painting. Every single shot is like a painting.
I enjoyed this. I was surprisingly enjoyed this romantic film so much that I'm probably going to buy this. But what I know this has a 4K release, but I'd rather have the Wong Kar-wai box set. I'd rather have that with all those movies in there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there. I can speak in English. I want that at some point.
Yeah.
And I heard the pictures. All those movies are 4K scanned upscale anyway. Like I
Yeah,
heard
I
the
mean,
pictures
probably.
great in the
You
box
know,
set.
I haven't. We've just started working our way through this,
Yeah,
and I watched As Tears Go By, his first one,
yeah, yeah.
and you can and that's like a crime story. It's super violent and
Hmm.
like it's crazy and unhinged, and you can tell it's much more indie. It's like first film, but you can see he's like finding his eye in it, and
Yeah,
so it's the same thing. Like there are images in there that are like startlingly beautiful.
yeah.
But within the Mood for Love, I feel like he reached this peak of just mastery of the art, and he had those moments in As Tears Go By. That's the entire movie for this. Like every frame, I'm just like, oh my god, like this is just a shot of a person standing. How is this the most beautiful thing I've ever seen?
Yeah, for
And how do
sure.
I have all of these emotions surrounding this like one simple
Yeah,
frame?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you nailed it. And I guess thinking about it now, the last romantic movie I saw was A Moment of Romance, and the only reason with Andy Lau, and the only
Yeah.
reason I watched a movie called A Moment of Romance, it was sent to me as a screener to review it,
Yeah.
and in comparison, A Moment of Romance that's the sap, with unloading more of the barrel of the sap. That's like too sap, like a little bit too much sap.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of diehard fans for A Moment of Romance. Surprisingly, I actually enjoyed it. Why? It had good balance. It had the
Yeah.
sap, made my eyes roll, but on the other side, it was like really violent. It was like crazy violent. And I was like, oh, all right. We got a good balance here. Fine. I actually ended up liking A Moment of Romance. But again, with that title, I never would have watched it.
Yeah.
But this, in comparison, I didn't really feel for the characters in A Moment of Romance. I didn't really care about them that much.
Yeah.
But these characters, man, I wanted them to get together. I felt for them. I felt bad for them.
Yeah.
And it's very fascinating and interesting because they both move in right next to each other at the same time, and the movie already starts to kind of you know set up what eventually is going to happen, right? Like some of their things, it says some of his things is in her apartment, some of her things are in his
Yeah.
apartment. I was like, I see what you did there, movie. Like accidentally were put there, right? And I, right in the the first time a couple of times they interact, they just look at each other. Hey, how's it going? They keep going because they're
Yeah.
both married, right?
Neighborly.
Both married. Um, I love that Wong Kar-wai did not show their spouses. That was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah. I
did
thought that
not
was
show their
fascinating.
faces. You don't even see them.
Yeah.
That was great because that makes them like cold and dead to the audience.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it makes you
Just like,
feel more for and feel
yeah.
bad for these two.
And it's amazing
It's
because,
kind of fucked up because their spouses are fucking each other.
yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
sucks. That's fucked
It's,
up.
it's kind of fascinating too. I mean, just the way that he constructs the whole, like the almost, I think it's like the first half of the movie. You have, they're both new to this building. They are both like sharing a very small room in a tight, confined building. These hallways are narrow. Every time they pass, they have to touch each other, and then they have spouses that they are beholden to,
Yeah,
you never see them. You hear their voices over the phone, I think,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. That's the only connection that you have with them. And it gives this sense of like these two shockingly gorgeous people just standing in close proximity, both of them lonely, both of them sad, both of them kind of questioning their relationships and wondering what they should do. And very naturally, very quickly, they bond and like, I feel like you're rooting for that immediately, just like that
Mhm.
starvation of human affection. And you get so much of that in the performances
And it's
right
not
from the start.
yeah, no, you nailed it. And it's not like, "Oh, the fuck their spouses, they're trash. So y'all show them, get the fucking." It's not even
Yeah.
like that. It's not even like that because you feel for them, you feel sad. It's just kinda like even the smallest little touch,
Mhm.
you want something to happen.
One of my
I
favorite
heard
parts
there's a
in the
deleted
beginning.
scene where they actually did fuck. I'm kinda glad they took that out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I'm glad they took that out because
Yeah, it would have been different. It would have been different.
that ruins this whole movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion, if they did that.
I think one of my favorite scenes early on is when uh you know he's sick in bed. Tony Leung is sick, and Maggie Chung's character just hears about it, and she hears that he's sick, and Tony Leung's friend is there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm visiting him. He's got a fever, and he wants some food. He wants some what was it, sesame syrup." And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then she's like, "Okay, all right, he wants sesame syrup." And then the movie goes on, and then later he says to her, "Hey, thank you for the sesame syrup." And she said, "Oh, I was making some anyway." And you're like, "Oh, no, you were not. You're lying to him. I know you wanted that." But I think it
Yeah,
creates this really interesting kind of suspense. I mean, me talking about suspense, of course,
yeah,
but it's a different kind of suspense where every touch and every glance, you're like, "Is that gonna? Are we going there? Are we doing it? Are we getting to it?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's this anticipation, and I don't know, it's like a roller coaster ride for not a lot of stuff like actually happening.
Exactly, and that's how do you do that?
That's what I mean. Like absolute mastery.
Let's pitch this movie today, Billy. Go ahead.
No. I can't do it. I honestly, like, this is another movie
Okay,
that
do
I
they
watch.
fall in do they fuck? That's I'm the producers.
Yeah, you
They
be the
fuck, right?
executive. Uh,
Wait, there's
yeah,
just
yeah.
we're just standing there for a long time, not looking at each other in the rain,
They
and they
might.
walk around in slow motion shots? Wait, what?
That's
Yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah.
And you're gonna love it. This is another movie that I watch and I'm just in awe of it because I'm like, I could never do anything like this.
Yeah.
Or I don't know even where you start with a movie like this.
And this movie being rewatchable, when I didn't pick it up at first when I watched it, and then I watched, some of those film essays, and he sets it up when they pass each other several times that she notices his tie
Mhm.
and he notices her purse. You know, I didn't even pick that up at first, and
Yeah.
which is brought up later because, go ahead and explain the tie in the purse.
Yeah, so at one point he's saying his wife has that purse, right? Or he was like asking where she got the purse and all this stuff.
Yeah, and she goes,
And
"My
then
husband bought it for me. Only he knows where to buy it from Japan. I think it's
right, right,
Japan,
right.
right? Yeah."
Yeah.
And she
And
asked him
so
about his tie.
same thing.
Yeah, and
Same thing.
she sees that same tie on her husband, or her was it her what was it? Was it her husband? She
Yeah.
saw the same
Yeah.
tie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
a little bit of an uncomfortable moment.
yeah, yeah. But they again, it's not super sappy,
Mm-mm.
cheesy, eye rolling romance to where I'm just like, "Bleh!" Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like so subtle. The relationship slowly builds,
Yeah.
and they both end up becoming friends, but they both end up kind of reenacting what their spouses would do if they were around each other.
Hmm.
And one of the most one of the most scenes are like, oh shit, like the movie got me. It actually got me when she sits there. They're
I
sitting
know
down
what you're
eating
gonna say.
together, and she sits there. She's they come close a little bit closer by now in the film, and Maggie Chung goes to Tony Long and she says, "Tell me right now, do you have a mistress?" And he pauses, right, and it's filmed just you just see her.
Yeah.
You see the back of him. You don't see him until later, right? The camera changes. And he goes, no. And she goes, tell me the truth. You're lying. Tell me the truth. And then he goes, yes. And then she slaps him. And he's like, hey, what kind of reaction is that? This is
Yeah.
just a reenactment.
Yeah.
So they were reenacting like once she, at some point asks her real husband, you know, if they're in that same scenario, she's kind of practicing for that. Like when I asked my real husband, hey, do you have a mistress?
Yeah.
So it was just like, god damn it, movie, you got me there. Because I thought it was like she was asking him, but they were just reacting, but she still responded emotionally, which happens again at the end
Hmm.
before they part ways.
Yeah.
But the camera angles, again, so many interesting camera shots. And then I found out that Wong Kar-wai wanted the viewers, the audience, to be the neighbors. And so that's why there's all these interesting shots of someone like looking through something at them.
Yeah.
So that was what he was trying to do there. And I thought, I was like, oh, that's how that's really fascinating. The neighbors, I'm sure, were wonderful, beautiful people. And they just, they I'm sure they were wonderful, beautiful people, and they're just loving and caring. But however, at some point, I was waiting for Maggie Chung's character to be like, you need to mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
Would you shut the fuck up and mind your own business? Because every
Yeah.
time they came in and out, where you been? What you eating? What are you wearing?
Oh
Have you
yeah.
seen
They were
such and such? Where's
all
such
over
and such?
that.
When he's gone, you're gone. I don't know. Like, how about you shut the fuck up
Yeah.
and mind your own business?
I
Like I
also
was
like,
waiting for her to do that at some point.
yeah, there was the long stretch of the movie where they're like stuck in his room because
Yeah,
the neighbors all and they're just having a conversation or having food or something. I don't remember what they're doing.
they're playing
Something
mahjong.
innocuous. Right, yes. So
Right.
the neighbors all come in, they have this mahjong game that's gonna be
They
they're like,
came
"Oh,
back
we're gonna be all
early.
night."
They
Yeah,
came back
they came
early,
early.
unexpected. Yeah,
So she's trapped in his room and she can't go out without explaining why she was in the room, and it would
right.
cause a stir and all this stuff. So she's in there all
Yeah,
night. And it
yeah. And guess what? They didn't fuck.
they didn't.
She just
They
laid
didn't
there
do
on
it.
the
They
bed
didn't even
peacefully.
touch.
No, and he
Yeah.
just sat there. I love the connection of how they're fans of the wuxia novels, the martial
Yeah.
arts novels, and he's like, I want to write one, and she's a fan of them, and she helps him write. You
That's what they
know,
were doing. That's what they were
yeah,
talking about his book. They were
yeah.
talking about writing a
I'm
book.
gonna add. He's like, I'm gonna add the drunken master in this scene. And she's all like, oh, drunken master. Just great. But it again, subtle, realistic in a way. They're just they trying to stay true and honorable to their spouses, even though they know they're fucking each other. And
Yeah.
that's what you as an audience is like really brought in. Like you really want them to get together. Like fuck the other spouses, fuck them. This
Yeah.
took place during the 60s, which was interesting too. But just again, beautifully shot.
Yeah, this movie too.
Tony Leung and Maggie Chung are God
I mean, of
in
course.
this movie.
Can you imagine if Robert Mitchum had showed up in this?
he's her spouse.
Yeah.
Honey, I'm going out.
But this movie too has me complimenting so many things that I don't even usually notice, like set design, excuse me, set design stuff,
Yeah,
costuming, everything that Maggie Chung is wearing. I'm like, God, that's gorgeous. Like,
yeah.
not only does she look amazing, but like in the context of the picture, you see her against these sort of stark green walls in this floral pattern. Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah.
it's just astounding. All of it's just astounding, and
I
you
heard
can just see
he was
them.
inspired by the color palette of Vertigo.
Really,
I can see that because Vertigo had
yeah,
like these big reds and blues and greens and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um,
Another thing I really like about it too, the way that it's told, you just see these little snippets of scenes. It's not like there's a scene and then another scene and then it has momentum,
right.
And that's, I think, one of the reasons I'm so in awe of it is because you have scenes in there that are like 10 seconds long,
Mm-hmm.
but they speak volumes to what's going on, and like it inches them closer just a little bit more. And so you have these little tiny snippets of little moments, and that's what that kind of relationship must be, these little stolen moments with a person that you're attracted to or drawn
And
to.
exactly. And I think this was the scene that was homaged in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
Key,
yeah.
yeah, Key was wearing the suit. He had a cigarette. But yeah, just a fascinating film, and you could tell they want to be together so bad. And spoiler alert, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They emotionally bring you on this journey, and you're like, oh, she's holding his hand now. At first she didn't, he tried to hold her hand in the car and she kind of pulled away. And then by the end, she leaned on him, and they held hands, and it takes you on that ride where you think they're going to get together, and it does not. It does not work out that way, and that's why this is called a tragic romance, a tragic love story. But again, beautiful, just beautiful to look at, gorgeous, well acted. It's just, I was so fascinated with this film. Like I am stunned that I want to buy this.
Yeah, it's funny when we were doing this, I watched this first, and I was like, I wonder how Preston's gonna do with this one. Like, I don't know. Like, I know
he knows me well.
Like,
he knows me well.
But I got into it, and I'm like, I think he's gonna like this. He's got an appreciation for like the art form of it, and so yeah, the movie is just such mastery of a story.
You thought I was gonna shit all over it, huh?
No, I knew.
Okay.
I knew you were gonna like it. Yeah. I felt like you would at least appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because how could you not? Watching it, like, it's so undeniably beautiful.
Yeah. Now there's different interpretations of the ending.
Oh yeah.
What is your interpretation of the ending? They've part ways. He can't be around her. He can't be around her anymore because he knows they can't be together.
Yeah,
and so it's too painful for him. So he takes a job in Singapore and leaves.
And
then she tries to call him, but then hangs up. There's that scene where she goes into his room. Yeah, kind of like lights a cigarette and sleeps. Kind of lays down in the chair. She misses him. But she can't. She called him, but she didn't talk. And then many years later, he shows up. I think she shows up first because she moved. And she shows up and realizes he's not there anymore. Somebody else is living in there, and then he shows up asking about her, and somebody else is living in her apartment. So they miss each other, and then life goes on. There's nothing you could do about it. The decisions were made, and they just couldn't bring themselves to be together. They decided to remain faithful, or they decided to just move on.
Yeah.
But life goes on is the point of the ending, I believe. You have that line, a dialogue. Well, that line there where the subtitles are saying that the past. You could see the past, but you can't touch it.
Yeah.
Um, but the whole ending, especially with now, because the movie jumps through time, right? So
Mhm.
now it's showing that there's political turmoil now going on in the country. Like times are a changing, right? But you got to just go with it and move on. What did you the ending? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that, like, the life goes on kind of thing. Like, he has a speech early on about the and I forget the details about where he was. I think it was Cambodia. He was
Hmm.
talking about, he was talking to his friend about, like, if you have a secret, say it into a hole and fill the hole with dirt and leave it there kind of thing.
Yeah,
And so I think they had this incredibly intense non-romance, this incredibly intense connection, and it was very important to both of them and who they are and informed how they were going to move forward. I think that he probably had a harder time than she did, because
yeah,
at the end he goes to these ruins and he finds this hole in the wall, and he, like, you see him whispering into the hole, and then he fills it with grass and then leaves. And I feel like that's him finally moving on. But
yeah.
when we
Leaving his
see
secret
her
there. Yeah,
leaving the secret there, yeah,
yeah,
whatever, I thought too, I was like, wait, did they sleep together and we just didn't see it, and they just don't talk about it, and
yeah,
is that the secret he's saying? I don't know, but
yeah,
I know that when you see her at the end, the whole movie, she is just like contained. She's got really tight clothes and she's got this collar up to her chin basically,
yeah.
and her hair's really up and tight. And when you see her at the end, her hair's down. She's like a little, like, loose fitting clothes. Yeah, this is her through the whole movie.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and then and she's got a kid now. So
Right.
I feel like she was able to move on with her husband and figure things out, where you see him alone the rest of the movie. He's by himself in
Right.
those ruins, says his secret, and kind of goes off by himself.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It's a really fascinating ending,
Yeah.
and
No, I think that was a great interpretation of what happened. But I could
yeah,
see I could see some people I could see some people, especially when they're expecting them to get together, because a lot of these movies are cliche, right?
yeah.
They're going to get together, right? You're going to have the big.
She runs up in the ruins, and she's, "I'm here."
Oh God, that would have ruined the movie.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
But I could see some people going, "Oh, what?" or that's it. Or I could see, especially when you're really expecting them to get together.
yeah,
I wanted them to get together, but I wasn't expecting it to happen.
yeah. I think at
Uh,
a certain point when it doesn't happen,
yeah, you
you
accept it.
realize, like,
Yeah,
at
it's
this
not.
point, you
It's not
probably
meant.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why when she called him many years later, she just couldn't talk to him. She hung up.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
They had already moved on. It was already done.
Yeah.
I thought too, I had a moment of confusion, but I was like, oh, maybe I got this. So when she comes back to his apartment,
Yeah.
she's asking if anyone's rented it. And she said, and the neighbor's like, "Are you interested?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm interested." And then when he goes back, he's asking, like, who lives there now? And she said, "Oh, some lady and her kid."
Right.
And he doesn't put that together that it's her. I almost wonder if she was there and he just moved on anyway because she's got a kid. Oh,
That'd be
either
interesting.
he didn't
Oh,
know it was her, he didn't
right.
realize she had a kid.
Yeah.
So
But you
just
see
little,
him. You see him smile
yeah.
when he's told
Oh,
that.
you're right.
Yeah. So maybe he accepts it. Maybe he's like, if that's really her in there, was it confirmed that that was her in there?
No.
Okay. If that's really her in there, he's like, you know what? She's got a kid. She's probably happy. I'm happy for her. And then he moves on.
Yeah. Maybe,
So
I
that's
think maybe
yeah.
that's what allows him to move on at the end.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 But yeah, just fascinating movie. And I would love to rewatch it. And the music, the score is
Mhm.
beautiful. That song that they repeat a lot throughout the film.
Yeah.
I kind of want that song
Yeah.
because it's so beautiful and sad at the same time, which is perfectly represents this film. But another thing I was seeing with a lot of film essays for the movie was there was a lot of repetition, a lot
Mhm.
of them going up and down the stairs, crossing each other. A lot of the same songs repeat throughout the movie. They meet at the same places. and they were saying that Wong Kar-wai wanted to show routine, how life there between them, their the emotions build and they grew to have feelings for each other. But on the outside, in the real world, life is very repetitive. It's very routine. The same
Yeah.
thing happens every day, but yeah, just great movie, man. Great
Yeah.
recommendation, Jude Poyer and Billy. Great recommendation. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and
and I
there's
enjoyed it.
like so much like I every time I watch this movie too, I have long conversations about it because there's so much to not even just doing this with you, but like my wife and I after we watched it, we just talked for an hour about it. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, no, this is fascinating too. And like, I think this about life and about love and about all
yeah,
this stuff. Like, I don't pontificate about that stuff most of the time, but after watching that movie, you just get so much and you're so overwhelmed by it that you can't help but just sit and talk about how amazing it is.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really, really great. That's why it stands the test of time, and it's being homaged by a movie that won all of the Academy Awards, and it's homaged in that film. But yeah, great recommendation, brother. It was so fun
Yeah, man.
revisiting these. It's like I bought this baby, so I got to get that Wong Kar Wai box
Oh
set
yeah. Yep.
and have some fun
Bam.
with it. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
I also bought this.
Physical media, baby. It's what it's all
That's
about.
that's the one.
It's what it's all
I
about. Yeah.
bought that years ago as a gift for my wife,
Yeah.
and we had I feel like I talk about my kids a lot on and how it's hard to watch
Yeah.
movies with them, but we
Right.
haven't watched all of them because it's really hard to watch movies with subtitles with kids running around.
Right. Yeah.
So
No,
we've
I
put it
got
off
you.
because we want to sit and watch
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah. You gotta pay attention. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. There's another
Great.
oh man, what is this movie? There's another old movie that this reminds me of. It was like from the 40s. Um, and it's also about an affair that doesn't happen.
Mm,
Um, oh
interesting.
man, it's gonna kill me now. I got to try to find it, but it's not Repeat Performance. That's a different one. A Brief Encounter. Brief
Oh,
Encounter from
okay.
1945, and it's
Ooh.
about um, two two married people, and
Yeah.
they find each other by happenstance, and they click, and you realize very quickly like they're vibing and they need each other.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert for that movie, they never get together. And again,
Right.
it's like this. It's very impactful. It's very dramatic, and it leaves you with this feeling of love. I mean, basically love, and like the
Yeah.
importance of those kinds of connections with people.
Yeah.
But I think In the Mood for Love is like it pulls a lot from that too.
From the 45 from Brief Encounter when
Yeah.
they didn't get together, did the male character just start screaming ridiculously at the end of the movie?
You know
Yeah!
what? Kind of, because in that movie, they try. They like go to an apartment to hook up, but they get interrupted. And then they're like, okay, let's not do it. And then
Right.
it doesn't happen. And you can
Right, right. You
feel
know,
like internally he was doing that.
there's that one shot, the gorgeous shot in the movie where she's up against the window looking out, and
Mhm.
he's on the other side, staring at her, and then she slowly turns and walks in the back, and she turns like this. You could, if you want to ruin the movie, you could say, "Well, there they fucked."
Mm,
Haha. So they did do it, but they ruined the movie.
yeah.
And I'm sorry again to hear my cat.
You missed my I did
Oh, sorry, I
the
missed it
Mitchum.
again.
No, you're good.
You did the Mitchum.
I did the Mitchum,
It's
yeah.
gonna be our thing.
I'm glad I don't have any animals running around here.
Yeah, sorry for that, guys. I'll have to put little Annie Fanny. I have to put her in the bedroom or something next time. She's usually quiet, but today she's just like, "No, I'm gonna fuck your stream up." No, it's all good.
Did you know
Um,
that there is also I don't think it's a direct sequel, but I think it's like a spiritual sequel
hmm,
that Wong Kar-wai did for this called 2046. And I noticed this time. Now, I've never seen
th-
2046, so I don't know how it is.
okay,
But in In the Mood for Love, I think his apartment or there's
it's
some
on the
door.
door. It's on the
2046.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I did the intro, I saw. Yeah, he shut the. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
2040. Oh,
So
look at
I
that.
think it's somehow a like partner movie within the Mood for
A
Love. I don't
spiritual
exactly know. Spiritual
spiritual
sequel
sequel.
is how it was told to me. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that now. Yeah. So if there's any other future romantic recommendations, I trust Billy now.
Yeah. I won't hit you with the holiday. Yeah.
It's like Samurai can only handle so much sap. Yeah, he's cool with it, but he ain't gonna handle so
Listen,
much.
we're gonna work our way up to Made in Manhattan.
Oh man, not even J Lo can make me want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'd rather. I'm more of an Anaconda guy.
There you go.
If I'm gonna watch J Lo, it's gonna be Anaconda.
It's gonna be with John Voight doing a weird accent. Yes.
Yeah, and doing that face, that creepy look he had. He was just. He's like checking her out. He's all creepy. That was great. That's a good bad movie right there.
Oh, 100%.
That movie's good bad. But yeah, man, this was a blast. But I'll before we wrap it up for today, another reason I enjoyed the film, even though it's sad, and I kind of connected with it a little bit, is I actually saw myself. Now, Samurai Guy, I don't really talk about personal things on the channel. You know, you got to leave. You got entertaining content over here, entertainment and personal life. You got to separate that shit, right? It's important. Excuse me. But I'll mention this just for funsies. I saw myself a little bit in Tony Lung's character, and what I mean by that is, I had a big crush on my wife. I thought it was an honor and a privilege just to become her friend and get to know her, and we became besties, and we hung out a lot, and my feelings for her grew, and it grew, and it grew, and the more my feelings for her grew, the more painful it was to be around her, and because I knew she would never be mine, and I knew she was just way out of my league. She was just hanging out with me because I made her laugh and I'm a nice guy. I'm not an asshole. But I can connect in a way, a little bit, to Tony Lung's character because he had to leave. He could not be with her any longer. It was too painful. And you have that scene at the end where she's crying on his shoulder and all that. And it's too much. It's too much. And he's like, hey, we're just reenacting, but they're not. You know, they felt the pain and sorrow of not being able to be together. And I connected with Tony's character. He just had to leave. So guess what I did? I left. I didn't call her anymore. I stopped hanging out with her. I kind of ghosted her for a while because it was too unbearable to be around her, knowing she'll never be mine. And then she called me, and she's like, "What the fuck?" She called me. She's like, "What's going on? You haven't called me in a while. We haven't hung out. Like, is everything okay?" And I finally just like, all right, fuck it. Finally, when I met up with her and I finally revealed my true feelings. And it's always a risk when you have best friends. It's always a risk because sometimes friendships end. So I figured at that point, the friendship was going to end anyway. And I might as well just be honest with her. And I told her my feelings for her. And she was very surprised. And she kind of had a little of an inkling that I liked her, but she was surprised it was that much. And she let me know her feelings right after that. That her feelings for me started to grow as well. And we've been married ever since. And we're still together. And there's no, let me see, what's it? There's no, try not to get emotional. What's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. I'm ruining this now. A perfect relationship does not exist. It doesn't exist. No matter how much you love someone, a perfect relationship doesn't exist.
Yeah.
However, we're both extremely happy with each other, and we both love each other. And the crazy thing is, I still have a crush on her. Another crazy thing is I still consider her my best friend. And so much, we've been together for so long now, so many years, it doesn't feel long. It feels like we've just been together. We just got together. So but that takes hard work and
Yeah, no, of
dedication to
course.
have a relationship like that,
Yeah.
and have a marriage like that. But I saw myself watching this, and I was like, God damn it, that was me. That
Yeah,
was me. But
like,
unlike In the Mood for Love, knocking on the wood, it turned out to be a happy ending because I got a chance to be with her as her husband and having the honor and the privilege of being her husband. And sweetheart, happy Valentine's Day. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional. I'm
no, it's
sorry,
perfect.
but happy Valentine's Day, my love. I love you. All right, Billy.
That's amazing.
Sorry, I'm sorry, everyone. I
No
don't
way.
do this. This is not what I do. But
Well,
hey.
I'll tell you, like, that's an amazing story to hear because, that's what a movie like this does too. Like it sort of makes you look at relationships in a different way. And my wife and I, we were very lucky when we met. We clicked. We were friends. We knew we were into each other, and it was all like, I don't want to say it was very easy for us, but like the stars kind of aligned for us. And we never had this sort of in the mood for love kind of thing, or like what you were talking about, this sort of longing period. But watching this just like yesterday, a couple days ago, with my wife, who I've been with now for 20 years, it did sort of make me understand, like, if we weren't able to be together, what it would have felt like what that does feel like. Like this person that's in front of you is who you need, what you need for yourself now, and you can't, for whatever reason, societal reasons, your own situation, like you can't be together, and that's what we're going to live in for these 2 hours. And so it really makes you kind of appreciate the relationships that you have, if you're lucky enough to have a relationship that's that lasting and that long. Anyway, that's what I took away from it, for sure. It's like an appreciation of that same thing.
Again, I apologize everyone for getting emotional, but I've been telling my wife for years, I always say this, I'm the luckiest man alive, right? And I think she's probably tired of hearing it by now. But it's funny, I still think she's out of my league. I still joke around with her, and I'm just like, you're with me because I can make you laugh, and you felt sorry for me, right? And then after that, I have a magical bruise, shows up on my arm. She punches me. She's like, "Shut up." Yeah. What a fascinating episode tonight.
This was a lot. Yeah,
we were all over the place with emotions.
Yeah,
but it fits both films.
This
is what you get on Fat Samurai Guy's channel. Nowhere else. So like, share, and subscribe.
For a full range of emotion. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, everyone, happy Valentine's Day out there. And I hope you guys have a great one. And hey, watch some movies. Let us know what movies you're going to be watching. Sneak some horror and martial arts and action in there. Balance. You can watch your lovey-dovey stuff. That's fine. But throw in the Return of the Living Dead. Throw it in there.
As long as people punch each other at some point.
Evil Dead 2. Fuck it. Throw it in there. Bone Cold. Right? Throw Bone Cold in there. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, you can watch that on Tubi. Make sure you guys check out a man's movie, psychological horror film, Bone Cold. Check it out. It's great. And it's on Tubi. You can watch it right now. Or buy the Blu-ray. Yeah, show support the physical media.
Yeah.
All right. We already have 2 other films lined up for the next Yin Yang. And you're not going to find out what it is unless you're a channel member or support us over there on Patreon. Then you will find out. You'll be the first to know what is coming up next. But Billy, this was amazing.
Yeah,
and
man.
I was not expecting to get emotional on camera. It's out there for the world to see and make fun.
You were in the mood for love.
I'm just a lucky man. And I appreciate it because I know what I got. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, share this video. Help us get to 30,000 subs. I think we're at 29 now.
Oh,
I think we
wow.
reached 29,000 subs, which will change by tomorrow because somebody will see me crying and they'll be like, I'm unsubscribing from this
Yeah.
fucking softy. Samurai Guy's gone soft.
No way. They're going to hear your Robert Mitchum scream and they'll be right back. Yeah.
Hey, nothing beats your Mitchum, man.
Yeah.
We're going to bring that back now from now on. Mitchum's coming back. All right, guys. Love you guys. Keep watching movies. Got some interesting stuff coming up next week. The Movie Dojo podcast. Going to be interviewing some awesome guests coming up. If you want to know, hey, you got to be a channel member to find out. Support us on Patreon. And going to be some other movie reviews coming up as well. But love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. And keep watching great movies. And once in a while, it's all right to go ahead and watch Frankenhooker. All right, guys. Take it easy. Frankenhooker's hilarious. All right. I'm all over the place, bro. I like the artsy-fartsy stuff, action, horror, and B movies. Let's go.
That's what makes it great.
You got to have variety.
Yeah.
You got to have variety.
Mix it up.
All right, guys. Take care. Love you guys.